right there, this is no bullshit. This is real good.
From the beginning, hip-hop, and especially so-called gangster rap, has been saddled by this idea that it reflects reality. And of course, that's never really been true, but it definitely reflects the imagination of the people who make it, and certainly growing up in a violent or in a poor area is going to affect your imagination.
The appeal of gangster rap is something to deal with the raw animal connection to violence and aggression that goes in the human psyche.
When I first heard Straight Outta Compton, I really thought that Ice Cube was gonna me up. LA is where the focus of the cultural energy is.
When that Rodney King beating was caught on tape, I thought the same way that everybody else did. This is up. Snoop's delivery was just amazing.
I'm just on the microphone and I ain't perpetrating.
Hey, Tupac was just revolutionary.
I don't know how to change the world, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody gonna clean it up.
For the first 10 years of rap on record, not only did New York dominate rap, but there was almost nobody else involved.
New York City at the end of the 80s is really an exploding place. There's a lot of racially charged incidents. And the city is a cauldron of also creativity. There's all of these young black artists listening to the Malcolm X tapes with their, kente blankets. There's African medallions. There's a lot of racial consciousness.
Well, Public Enemy come from the 60s, and the politics of the 60s was, you stand up for yourself, know yourself, be black, you're proud, and, you demand that you be equal.
Public Enemy, they were beyond rappers. They were activists. They were revolutionaries. They made the whole community get together and sing those records when they heard it because it was just so incredible.
They were able to embody an era through their sound. The chaotic, confrontational aspect of the era. They spread both the mythology of Malcolm X and they helped advocate people pay more attention to Louis Farrakhan. Black people are looking for an alternative to the crack culture, which is everywhere.
Like comatose walking around, please don't confuse this with the sound. I'm talking about
crack, crack. Everywhere you go, crack. You don't hear no dope, Holly. You don't hear no coke anymore, Holly. The only thing you hear is people saying jumbos, crack.
So if anybody offers you drugs, just say no.
If you just say no, you'll be saying yes to a whole lot more.
As the crack epidemic takes over the national black community, there's a different mood in hip-hop.
Crack fiends had to get high every 5 minutes. It wasn't like heroin where you fell asleep. You were high and you want to get high again. You want to get high again with McDonald's. It made crack fiends rob their mother, their brother, their sister. Women abandoned their children for this drug. And the money it turned over was so fast. All that money means more competition for the spots.
People are armed, people are dangerous, and people are acting irrationally. And that's something that you always have to be aware of 24 hours a day.
The level of firepower increases. The trafficking in weaponry also increases. So you have this escalation.
This changes completely the nature of the music. The rappers start to reflect the crack trade, the violence surrounding the crack trade, and the materialism surrounding the crack trade. So what had been a culture designed to minimize violence in the ghetto and urban centers in the black community, put your knives down, put your gang wars down, we're going to rhyme against one another, and we're going to b-boy and break against one another, now becomes a culture that reflects a level of violence unforeseen in the black community.
What New York was in the late 80s, all this turmoil and this racial confrontation, we had musical and cultural explosion. LA becomes that for a while. A place that was percolating with a cultural war on the ground that is getting a lot of attention.
6 in the morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeak across the bathroom floor. Out my back window, I take my escape. Didn't even get a chance to grab my old school tape.
The gangster thing really starts with Ice-T. where you were put in the middle of crime. You were put in the middle of paranoia.
The time I was out in the street hustling, we were doing all kinds of illegal activities, pimping, robbing. My friends was like, man, write about that, man. And that was like the invention of gangster rap.
His first major hit was the song 6 in the Morning, which talked about the police raids. When Daryl Gates was chief of police in Los Angeles, they would literally start banging doors in and busting people at 6 in the morning.
Looked in the mirror, what do we see? Blue lights, LAPD.
He woke the rest of the world up to the West.
All of his records were pretty much talking about things that were happening here on the West Coast. So we couldn't do nothing but respect that.
6 in the morning was, I had a gun, we beat a girl down in the street, we had, we were wilding, going to jail, selling dope.
It was a wake-up call for all of East Coast people who really aren't aware of the level of gang violence that's going on in California. The fact is that the gangster thing in L.A. it's been there going back to the 70s, all through the 70s and 80s. Crack made it worse.
I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking. King of my jungle, just a gangster stalking, living life like a firecracker, quick as my fuse. Been dead as a death, back the colors I choose.
Really, the oldest gangs were the Latino gangs. With the African American gangs, they were what was left of the ashes of the Black Power movement. And so what happened was, when you look at how the Black Panther Party completely split apart, you had a lot of kids with energy, with organization, with guns that had nothing better to do. When Raymond Washington formed the Crips, they took over all these smaller gangs. They absorbed them. And essentially, if your gang wasn't absorbed into the Crips, those gangs ended up becoming Bloods. Something that's so small became this huge thing.
You joined the gang because, if anything, if Warren G and Nate Dogg is my friends, right? And Warren G's older brother is from this gang, and Nate Dogg is from this gang, and they my best friends, you can believe me, in the next 6 months, I'm going to be from this gang. Because if they're not going to force it on me, I'm going to see all of the things that they getting and they doing, and they having money and they doing this and that, and I'm like, man, that's real appealing to me.
Once money got involved and once it became about drug territory and a bunch of other things, it was a situation that spiraled out of control.
People are afraid. They're either afraid of the government, they're afraid of the police, they're afraid of their neighbor. The crack thing created paranoia in the black community like you wouldn't believe. I mean, a lot of LA hip-hop is about fear. And so I'm going to kill you before you kill me.
Speed of light, fast. It's like walking barefoot over broken glass. It's like jumping rope on a razor blade. All lightning quick. Decisions are made.
When you listen to Ice-T's gangster rap, he talks about the player side. He talks about the successful guys. What it's like when you're on top of the game.
Illegally, professional.
High Rollers was one of the first videos to depict the hustler lifestyle. And this was back in the days when MTV allowed you to show pretty much everything. I mean, we had M16s in the video, around the pool. We had guns, beepers, bulletproof vests, money. And one of the things about the video was it was all real stuff. There were no prop guns used in it. It was funny because the crew was like, are these guns unloaded and stuff? I'm like, well, I don't know if it's that guy's flashing his particular piece. You saw this lifestyle, but at the end of the video, some jackers came in, put the shotgun in my head, pulled me out the bed, and I ended up dead on the floor. And that's my way of telling the story of that life.
You better watch your back if you want to be a high roller.